Some chilling images that we are seeing, online showing blood red skies over Indonesia, having caught the world's attention. You've been looking into this problem for some time. What's starting these fires?
So the fires are being caused mainly due to the use of fires for clearing land and also for clearing peatlands. So fires are being used to clear peatlands in order to convert these areas for agriculture. And in these landscapes, most of the time, people would be looking to plant oil palm plantations or other forms of agriculture, but mostly for oil palm.
Okay, so, what can the Indonesia government do to prevent this?
So at the root of the problem is really the degradation of tropical peatlands. And this has begun since the 1970s. So a lot of times it's got to do with sustainable land use policies. And the Indonesian government can do more in terms of protecting its peatlands from further deforestation or protecting its peatlands from further drainage for agriculture. So far, the Indonesian government has already set up a moratorium for tropical peatlands in its country. So making sure that these peatlands are protected and are no longer being deforested, either by small-scale actors or by large-scale actors like companies, is really crucial in order to keep these ecosystems intact.
Why are these fires so aggressive? Because they've been going on for some time.
So the fires have been very aggressive, mainly because these fires are occurring over peatlands. So when peat is burning, it will actually lead to surface level burning as well. So it's very difficult to put out the fires unless there is continuous amount of rainfall in these landscapes. However, what we're experiencing now in Indonesia is a long drought. So that has caused it to be a lot more difficult to put out the fires. And the fires have just been raging on because it's just extremely difficult to access to water in order to put out these fires. And it takes many people to coordinate the effort to lead this firefighting mission.
I see. Now, health officials in Jakarta are saying just under 1 million people are suffering from breathing problems. How dangerous is the current situation for the people of Indonesia?
So it's extremely dangerous. It threatens human life, especially that of children, of pregnant women, of the elderly, those who are suffering from respiratory illnesses like asthma. It's extremely hazardous as well, especially for local communities who are living very close to the source of the fires. These people are exposed to high levels of particulate matter for prolonged periods, and they also have very little resources to defend them from the haze and the smog that's outside.
Well, that brings me to my next question. Haze from these fires are spreading across Southeast Asia. How can these nations within the region work together to tackle the forest fires? Because it's going on in Singapore, in Malaysia.
So in the short term, Southeast Asian nations have offered to help Indonesia to curb these fires. Firefighting equipment, manpower is needed in order to support these firefighting missions. Funding is also very important to support Indonesia in handling this crisis on the firefighting front as well as on the human health impact front. In the long term, I think Southeast Asian countries like Malaysia and Singapore, they have a very crucial role to play because many of the palm oil and pulpwood companies are based in these countries. So governments should ensure that these actors in these industries, from financiers to consumers, are aware of the unsustainable land use practices that are happening in Indonesia and to develop policies and implement these policies for sustainable land use in Indonesia.
Well, Professor, thank you so much for joining us today to talk about the fires.
Thank you, Elaine.